Okay, hello everyone. Good evening and welcome to week 4 of the JIIPCC program. It's always a pleasure doing this with us. I see that we have some of our mentors already here with us, so would kick off immediately. I'm hoping that other mentees join us as we kick off today's session. It's already 6 p.m. and here at Gypsy, we're very particular about time. I want to confirm, can everyone hear me, please? If you can, kindly signify. I would really appreciate that. Can everyone hear me, please?
We can hear you, Mr. Bessel.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. It's a pleasure doing this again. My name is Godslav Kamaloni, and I'll be the moderator for today's session. Last week was amazing. It was phenomenal. I had quite a great time last week, and I'm sure that our mentees did. Our mentors were on fire. And this week is not going to be an exception to that fact that here at Gypsy, every session is a time to learn, unlearn, and relearn. It's always phenomenal because we know that at every session, something amazing is going to be learned. So we're going to move right in to today's session. Welcome to week 4 of the first and second quarter of the Gypsy program. Do not forget it's General Imam, the Property Mentorship and Internship Program, and it's such an honor to be doing this with us today. For today, we're going to be examining the topic comedy skits and digital content. Comedy skits and digital content. I know that a lot of us have seen amazing skit makers, great comedy work. Of course, so many names to be called. I'll try not to mention some names right now. But we have some mentors here who have worked with these people along the way. That's why we always bring persons who can relate. This is Entertainment, Business, and Law program. And I'm really sure that here at week 4, we've learned so much from week 1 to 3. Mentees, do not forget the golden rule. Ensure that you're listening throughout the session. Have your questions ready early enough. Because if it gets too late, unfortunately, we'll not be taking questions if it gets too late. And I'm sure that our mentors are ready to give us an amazing time. Every mentor will have about 15 minutes to give us an opening statement, basically talking about what give us an insight into today's topic. And then our presenters will have about 7 minutes each to present on their topic, basically what they've been given to present on. Do not forget, please go straight to the point, presenters, hit the nail on the head and give us a fantastic presentation. Okay, I want to implore us to please have our cameras on as much as we can today because it's going to be a phenomenal time today. We're talking about comedy skits and digital content. Okay, I'll move on to our first mentor for today. She's been here before the call even started. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being punctual. Okay, I think I'll start with Lesson, please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, one of our mentors for today, we have Blessing Alice Young. Alice Young, popularly known as Alique Oceans, is an entertainment lawyer dedicated to protecting and empowering creatives across Africa. Her work sits at the intersection of law, media, technology, and digital content, where she helps creators structure their brands, negotiate contracts, and safeguard their intellectual property. She's the founder of Creatico, a creative growth agency committed to equipping creatives with the legal, strategic, and business foundations needed to build sustainable careers. Ali is also a speaker and educator passionate about building long-term infrastructure for Africa's creative economy. Ali is an alumna of the Music Business Academy for Africa, now Creative Business Academy, and an alumna of the Gypsy Mentorship Program. Her work is driven by a deep commitment to service, structure, and generational impacts within the creative industry. Hello, Ali. Welcome to today's session. It's so nice having you here with us. Looking forward to listening to you and, of course, having you impact on our mentees. It's always amazing when I see a fellow alumni return to the Gypsy program to give us a fantastic time. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, here tonight we also have another amazing mentor with us, Mr. Dennis, please. Okay, we have Laklat Anthony Archie Esquire. I've seen him as well before I think when we started, he actually joined the session, so he's here with us. Thank you so much, Alice. So we have Black Lad Anthony Archie. He's a lawyer and creative whose work bridges law and entertainment. He's a founder and principal of Artemis, a legal firm focused on intellectual property and entertainment law. He represents composers, artists, producers, and a handful of content creators, advising on recording agreements, publishing deals, brand partnerships, and other commercial arrangements. He has negotiated and acted as legal representative on contracts involving major industry players such as Maven Records, Afro Avatar, and Chocolate City, Empower, and has represented clients in respect of their work with top artists, including Joe Boy, Ladipo, Fireboy DML, Taves, and Victor Thompson. Alongside his legal practice, Anthony operates under the creative alias Arthur, and he is a music producer, songwriter, sound engineer, and sound designer rather, sorry about that, and film composer. As a credited songwriter and producer for artists under Maven Records, he possesses a first-hand understanding of the challenges creatives face when navigating contracts and commercial relationships. His dual perspective allows for a highly practical approach, helping creatives protect their rights, structure fair deals, and build sustainable careers within the entertainment industry. Mr. Anthony, it's such a pleasure having you here with us this evening, and I'm sure that we would surely benefit from your wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Okay, we have another mentor here with us. That's Oluwaseyi Arosebe. I think I remember him from other sessions. Thank you again for joining us. Mr. Seyi is the principal partner of the Lex Consult, a corporate and intellectual property law firm based in Abuja, Nigeria, serving clients across country and globally. The firm has advised hundreds of clients in the formation and maintenance of corporate entities and also safeguarding the intellectual property of individuals and corporate entities. He's a facilitator at the Intellectual Property Institute of Nigeria, where he teaches trademarks and copyright. She holds a Master of Laws degree in Intellectual Property Law and Policy. He is also an alumnus of the prestigious Lagos Business School, LBS. Mr. Shea, nice having you here with us. To confirm if he's already here. Nice having you here with us. Okay, finally here with us today. I think the mentor who we've had already this quarter. That's Mr. Raphael Efe Iranian. He's an entertainment, media, and intellectual property lawyer. He's the founder of Thames Africa, a platform that serves as a resource center and reference point for all matters concerning technology, entertainment, media, telecommunications, intellectual property, and fashion in Africa. He was formerly an associate in the entertainment, leisure, and media law business unit at Olaniwun Ajayi LP, the multinational corporate and commercial law firm headquartered in Lagos, Nigeria. He was also an intellectual property and technology associate at ILEX Partners, where he was seconded as legal associate to Prunege Technologies Development Limited, an international technological services company also based in Lagos, Nigeria. He has advised a wide range of clients, including international and local clients. On intellectual property, technical. Here again, please. I think I went off for a minute or for a bit.
Yes, you were off for a minute, but we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much. Sounds, just confirm our mentors who are here with us. I can confirm Alice, I can confirm Blacklas, I can confirm Shay. Okay, so just if that is not here at the moment, so quickly move on to listening to our mentors for 15 minutes as they delve into the discussion for today. Open the floor on what comedy, skits, and digital content play in the entertainment business and law. And of course, I would like to start with the amazing lady who has been here from the beginning, before the session even started. Hello, Alice. Good evening and welcome to today's sessions, and honor having you here with us. Okay, I don't know. I think we've lost Alice at the moment. I can no longer see her in the session. Okay, so once she's back, we'll be having her. At this point, I want to move to Laklat Archie. Hello, Laklat. Good evening. Welcome to today's session.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, loud and clear. Thank you so much. So the floor is yours. Let's get your take and opening statements on today's topic: comedy, skits, and digital content. Going through your portfolio, I would say amazing work you're doing. Thank you so much, and I'm sure our mentees will learn quite a great lot from you tonight. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Big thank you again to JIIPCC for giving me this opportunity to be a mentor. Never really saw it coming. I am still. Can you guys hear me?
Okay. Yes, please. Loud and clear.
Yeah, I am still quite new to the week. I only got called in 2024, but I mean it's a pleasure to be able to amass as much experience enough to be deemed as a mentor. Let me share. I believe I can share my screen. Yes. Today I'll just be talking to today's topic though. I will be centering on digital content. I'm trying to encompass everything together because my firm, as the creator Artemis, we mostly center on everything entertainment really, but mostly music, film, and yeah, content creation. So just not to stray away from the topic that much, I will try my best to basically put everything together because all these things I've mentioned, music, film, and content, they basically revolve around each other. Skit makers use music all the time, filmmakers use music all the time, and content creators basically make film. So technically, they are all woven together and they can all be categorized as digital content. So that is why basically I would have to like make them interwoven and work together. So instead of traditionally just speaking on like a brother, I believe I have 15 minutes. Yes, God's love.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So instead of just naturally talking about the general concept of entertainment law, which you already know, I will try to streamline it. I believe most of our audience today are either young lawyers or aspiring lawyers, and those who have or who are experiencing what law school is, you understand that most of your questions are scenario based. Your client is a 72-year-old man who wants to establish a company but also wants to remain director and wants to keep it within his family without having 50 directors. What should you advise? You understand? And then you put particular checklists in place to ensure that that particular instruction is being followed. And I feel like that's the step I'm also going to follow today because when you finish law school, you do not go to another school to learn entertainment. I mean, you could go do your master's and get entertainment and get an LMMS in entertainment and intellectual property law, whatever. But immediately you're done, you could be thrown into the system. And if you do not have this checklist in mind, you are most likely going to go astray. And to be honest, these are checklists that if I actually did had after I had graduated from law school, it would have really been of good help. So enough of the yapping and let's just get into it. Yeah, I will be splitting each of these checklists in 3 categories. Again, like I said, I'm trying to not stray away from the topic. I'm still basically in around digital content, which also encompasses music, film, and content creation itself. So I'll be splitting this particular topic in 3 industries, which is music, film, and content creation. So at least I still stay within the topic. It's basic. I chose this topic because people are of the view that law is more reactive than preventive. So basically, you call a lawyer after trouble has been caused, or you call a lawyer after something is done. However, I am of the view that there are particular things that you could do to avoid getting in trouble. So if you are representing, sticking to the topic now, if you're representing a comedian, and that particular comedian wants to, I mean, he's been offered a deal by MTN to do an ad. There are particular things that have to be in place. Like you as a lawyer, you're meant to advise a comedian, okay, this advertisement you're running, these particular songs that are in it, have MTN cleared those songs. Whatever you're going to be advertising, the topic in that advertisement for the network, have they been cleared by whoever owns, if that is an intellectual property owned by another person? You get like all these particular things, because if things goes, I don't know, if things comes out of bust, basically, you, the lawyer, will have to be the one to do the cleanup. And trust me, from experience, cleanup is not a thing you'd want to experience. So these are the checklists you need to have in mind to be able to implement before the trouble arises. Yes, so we'll be starting first with the master checklist. The master checklist, which is basically like those main things in all the industries, basically even aside entertainment or in almost every industries, that you're supposed to basically ask yourself and have an answer to them before your client is meant to go into anything. If your client is a filmmaker, before he makes a film. If your client is a skit maker, before he makes his skits that he's going to put out public, because we're in a world these days where there are laws for these particular industries. So these are the things you have to put in mind. So what exactly is being used? What is your skit maker or comedian using? Is he using extra video footage as B-rolls? And are those videos cleared, or are those videos owned intellectually by someone else? Which goes to the next question. Who owns it? What permission exists? Is the permission in writing particular licenses? I will give you scenarios of stuff like this, like the Bimbo's case, where she recently put out a movie on YouTube, and it was demonetized by YouTube because the third party issued a copyright claim. These are the issues. What is the scope, platform, territory, duration, and commercial use? Because the topic of fair use, I believe I reading the Mentee's presentation, I saw something about it there. The topic of fair use is mostly an international ideology. Like, we don't really revere fair use here. So what could be fair use in the US might not be fair use here. You could call someone a goat in the US and they would say it's fair use, but here they would term it as cyberbullying. So these are the questions you need to basically ask yourself as a lawyer before you advise your clients to either go ahead or not. And what happens if there's a dispute? Because obviously some people will not listen to you. Based on lawyer and client relationship, we both know some clients can be stubborn. You will tell them that this will happen and they will still not listen, and they will do it and find out what happens and just come back to you to solve the problem. These are all the things you basically have to put in check before having those things move on. So I said I was going to split into 3 categories on 3 industries: music, film, and content creation. And I'm going to start with the one that's closest to my heart, music, because I am myself professionally a music producer and composer, which is the reason why I made Artemis. Basically, the goddess of hunt, to hunt down labels and artists who refuse to do their due diligence and do what they need to, paying creators and producers and artists their fees. So yeah, the music industry checklist before a song is released, because again, I said digital content also involves music, and it also links towards this particular topic of today. Checklist number 1: confirm ownership of the composition and master recording. This is in specifically to those who are representing artists. Remember, I'm saying I am basically giving a checklist of those who are going to represent particular people in this industry. If your client is a comedian, an artist, a producer, a filmmaker, a content creator in general, this checklist. So if your client is either an artist or a label, and he or she wants to release music, first, there has to be confirmation of who owns the composition and the master recording. Now, I only have 15 minutes, so I can't really dive there, but just explaining it short, composition and master recordings are 2 different things. Composition are basically those who made the beats, the melodies that encompass and the lyrics that basically make up the song. And the master recording is the whole package itself, the whole song itself, which comprises of both the composition, the lyrics, and everything together. And those who own this particular rights are different. So the composers and the producers and the lyricists are the ones who own the composition, and the label and the artists who basically bought the beats or basically putting out the song, they are the ones who own the master recording. So you have to distinguish. How does this apply in practical sense? Let's say, sticking to the topic again, let's say your skit maker or your comedian wants to use a particular song for his video. It's a very tricky time we are in these days. That alone could issue what's called court issues of copyright, especially if you're distributing the songs to platforms like YouTube or TikTok. Your role as a lawyer is to confirm, okay, who owns the song? We are meant to basically ask for permission first, or we are basically meant to offer royalties in case anything comes from the earnings of the video or skits we make. That is it, putting it in practical terms. You get the other checklist basically all sit around this first one, which confirms split sheets, producer agreements, which again, producer being the composer, he has to have an agreement with him saying, okay, yes, he has legally assigned the composition to the song owner, which is the master recording owner. So stuff like that, reviewing the distribution agreement. If it's a distribution deal, this is in respect to strictly musicians though. So this has nothing to do with just skit makers and comedians. Sample clearance where applicable. Practical example is this is the recent case with Airtel where they recently used the song Nigeria Will Survive. I think for one of their ad campaigns, and they were sued. And I think they reportedly paid around 250 million as compensation for damages. These are things they would have been able to prevent if they had implemented checklists. You understand? Because it's not that hard. All you have to do is pay the rights owner his sync fees. You understand? And it's not like the owner is dead. And even if the owner of the particular song is dead, that particular material is an estate. It can be transferred and basically inherited by another person. So these are the issues. These are the issues. When it comes to content creation, music is an integral part of it. And music alone can be the downfall of whatever content you're releasing. So it's really, really important to apply this checklist. Make sure every license matches actual intended exploitation. So don't go listen a song to make a skit and then you go putting it out to go as a health ad video or as a workout video, because you are contravening the intended reason why you leased or bought a particular song. So yes, that is it for the music industry checklist. I really wish I had more time, but I'm trying my best to be as compact as possible. The film industry, who again are also digital content. This one is they don't joke with this one. I mean, like I give the example of the Bimbo Adeliki's case, where how it should have been. It caused me a serious problem because she spent a lot of money in making that move. And our presumption, because I mean the fact of the case is yet to really be out there, but our presumption is she leased the particular song that was used for the movie, yeah, expecting that obviously she's paid money for it, so she owns it. But that's the mistake. That's the mistake most people do. They believe that because you paid for something, it means you own it. However, what you're paying for is a license to use it. It's like rent. Because you paid for house rent doesn't mean you own the house. You are only paying for a license to reside in that house for a particular time. And licenses expire. And licenses can also be given to another person. So these are the thing. In this particular case, I think what we are suspecting happened was she leased a song, another person also leased that song. And when it was put on YouTube and the other person heard it, he felt, oh, like she's actually stealing my work. And YouTube are very, very reactive in what they feel to be a copyright infringement. So they won't go asking you to submit your appeal first. No, they will demonetize. They will demonetize your video. Sorry, are you guys hearing and seeing my screen?
Oh yes, please. We can hear you because your screen.
All right, thank you. They will demonetize your video first before actually answering your appeal. And again, which is another reason why we are speculating as to what happened. It should have been easy for her to have provided a license saying, hey, here is a license. I actually bought or leased this song. I have rights to have the song in my content. But she doesn't. And of course, the license has to be a document. It has to be a contract. You can't go showing YouTube your WhatsApp chat with the producer who you leased the beat from or with the artist. You understand? It has to be a valid contract. So if your client is a filmmaker, if your client is a director or skit maker, staying to topic, or comedian who intends to use videos or wants to like make a full-blown production of a comedy skit and post on YouTube, ensure that your client has cleared the songs that he or she would use for that content. Because obviously, again, like I said, music is very essential in this industry. You can't just do a skit. You know how skits are. First, this is playing in the beginning and then in the background. All those songs are meant to be cleared by the original composition or master owner before they are released. So just sticking to the slide here, confirm script ownership and application rights. Who owns the song and what should this song be used for? Check actor agreement, appearance, and release. This is specific to making film. This is not specific to songs, it's specific, this specific to making film. And you could also apply to your skit makers and comedians. If they are going to feature other particular comedians in the skits, have they agreed on the revenue shared? Because obviously, if they are posting it on YouTube, there'll be revenue here. So have they agreed on who gets what, how many percent of what, who gets what? These things are not a handshake agreement. These things are meant to be in writing. Compulsorily, they have to be in writing to avoid having to do because again, trust me, cleanup is not something you want to engage in doing as a lawyer. Reviewing the chain of title, reviewing distributor platform warranties and delivery requirements. YouTube has its list of what they expect you to deliver. They will tell you pop and clear the song you're basically using in your video is not cleared. Do not share it on our platform unless we demonetize your video. So these are things that if your client isn't aware of, you bring it and read it for him or her to read it and understand. If there's no nudity in your videos, especially for YouTube and TikTok, ensure you inform your client so there is nothing of such in that particular skit. And lastly, clear every piece of music in the film, like I stated. This is very important. It's quite unfortunate that most people overlook how essential it is to clear music content, but trust me, it is to be the first thing that you should look out for. Because again, like I said, it's very integral in this industry. So moving on, film red flags in music licensing. Of course, these are like the consequences of what will probably happen. You get demonetized, take down requests, injunctions and damages. Yes, you can get that far. You can get that far, especially if the content you are exploiting and it's like, let's say a song in the US, because that's laws are stricter there. They could ask you for damages, distribution and clearance delays, obviously. And then I gave the example of the Bimbo Ademoye. Sorry, I probably got her name wrong initially. Bimbo Ademoye's case. Because again, you could see what it was. I could only imagine what she had went through because it's not easy to spend that much money on a film and then one particular song, one song that has absolutely nothing to do with the film will cause your video to get demonetized. And this filing an appeal before it gets monetized again takes time. So these are things just to avoid problems. These are things you should ensure your client has already like foreseen and has relevant evidence to show and claim ownership or claim title to. Let's move on immediately. Content creation and brand promotions, which I guess is a bit more tied to the topic for today. We at Vatsimins have had a handful of content creators. I think we presently have about 7 as our clientele. And one of the things they come to us with is brand deals. And one thing I ask them first is, hope they haven't given you a script. Because that's what most of these brands do. They give you a particular script of what they want you to say about their particular product. So let's say Ditto, or no, let's use something a bit more. Let's say skincare products. They'll come and tell you that in 2 days you get a glowing, clean, blah, blah, blah. And you have to put those particular phrases in the scripts of the video, advertising the video, even though they won't pay you. But I always advise content creators that they should own their scripts when it comes to advertising products. One, and they should ensure they test those products first on themselves, or I don't know, test subjects, and ensure that what this product is claiming to do actually does it. Because if things goes out of free, if you end up doing that brand deal, doing that ad, posting it on your platform, and a third party user comes saying, I watched a video of this content creator who advised me to use this product, and this is what happened. It's your client that would suffer it because she endorsed it, he or she endorsed that product. So again, these are the checklists. Ask whether the post is advertising or an endorsement content, because these are like 2 different things. Endorsement is basically you've already even signed a contract, like you are coerced basically to promote that product, and you have to obviously state it in the video. If you notice and watch YouTube and TikTok videos, they will tell you that this video is proudly sponsored by so you understand that whatever they are saying is technically by Estopel because it's a brand deal, like it's an actual endorsement content compared to advertising. Feel like they've given you a product to review and then you are reviewing it. Technically advertising is, but what you're saying is based off your opinion. So you have to be able to distinguish between those two, so your client don't just go giving good reviews for a product that is very defective. Make sure the brand deals covers payment usage, exclusivity, takedown rights, and dispute handling. Of course, this is where you have to grant contracts, indemnifying your client, ensuring that if there is any issue that arises from the use of this product, your client is indemnified to stay out of trouble. Your client isn't going to fall into trouble because a particular skincare product didn't make a girl's skin glow in 2 days. These are the things you have to put in place. Confirm permission for every song, image, logo, clip, likeness being used. Example, like I guess we'll see later on, I think in Menzi's presentation, the issue of Sabinus, something huge. That's his likeness. That's his actual likeness. I don't know if they've concluded the case or it's still pending in court. I'm yet to check. But I do know that in issues like that, that could be a problem. If your client was, let's say, Gala, who were the ones who were using the catchphrase, expect something huge, blah, 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 your duty as lawyers to ensure and check, probably go to the NTC or go somewhere and check, has that catchphrase been registered as a trademark? Or has Sabinus himself registered his likeness as a trademark? To stay out of trouble, because if he has and you don't ask him for permission to use that or pay him a particular sum to use that and license that catchphrase or his likeness, damages will incur. He would sue you indefinitely. And of course, being a big company, he'll be asking for millions. I think he was asking for about 1.1 billion naira. Again, I'm not sure if the issue has been settled or settled out, of course, because we unfortunately have a very bad system where we generally like have news for stuff like this. But these are the issues, basically. These are the issues. You to confirm every song, image, logo, clip, or likeness used. Because again, when particular companies are doing ads and brand placements, they have to include these things. I think I'm running out of time, so let me speed run this. Ensure all claims about the products are truthful and supported. Like I said in the beginning, test it yourself. See if that product, if that skincare product actually does what people say it does, or what the owners of that product say it does. And then finally, identify and protect creators' brand assets such as name, logo, slogans, and catchphrases. Yeah, do not try to affiliate your client's catchphrase or client's brand to that particular advertisement deal. Like, try and make it exclusive. Try and make them detached. Your client's item. So if your client usually say, let's talk about this, don't include that in the advertisement deal, because when you do that, you're only enforcing the fact that you're affiliated with that product. Try your best to ensure that your client has a leg out in case anything goes off, because we never know what could happen. So again, I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to state my final say on the whole issue. Again, thanks to JIIPCC for having me here. I would say if those who want to actually do entertainment law, as interesting as it sounds, trust me, you must also know the books. Not only just the books, the art itself. So if you are into comedy and skit making and you want to represent those as your clients, actually hang out with skit makers or even be a skit maker yourself. It's possible. Or you want to be representing content creators, make content yourself so you have first-hand knowledge of what it actually feels like. If you fuck up, or sorry, forgive my language, or if you mess up and the particular platform is taking you down, you can be able to see what the notice looks like. You can be able to understand what the appeal process is like. Those are the things that I believe most people who want to engage in entertainment law should basically be used to. Be involved in the arts. If you want to represent filmmakers, follow filmmakers around. Do some little filmmaking yourself. Watch a lot of movies. Understand the art. When you understand the art, you love it enough to be able to represent clients in it. So I'll just wrap up here. I'm not timing myself, so I'm unsure if I have basically used my time. But if I have, please forgive me. It's quite not easy to like compact everything together. But once again, thank you to JIIPCC for having me here. I hope to be here once again. I love the work you guys do. So, and I hope I can't wait to listen to the other mentors and also learn from them. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much, Laklat. It was quite an amazing time listening to you. Of course, I agree on so many points. Mentees, I hope you're right in taking us of a lot of things he has said already. That was a nice way to kick off with the session. Yes, he made some really, really great points. Before you go into any field of law, ensure that it's a field you're passionate about. Get involved. It keeps the passion burning. It makes you an expert in that field. You don't only talk law in that field. You also talk process. You also talk what it entails to be in that field. That gives you the knowledge when it comes to process, also the knowledge of law, and you would bring them beautifully together. And thank you for mentioning the Bimbos matter, of course. I was going to mention that today because that was quite heartbreaking. Anyway, we have some other amazing mentors with us. Thank you once more to Laklat for kicking off today with such a banger, if I may say. Okay, I'll move on to Alice. I believe we have her back now. Hello, Alice. Good evening. Welcome to today's session. Please, the floor is yours for your opening statements on today's topic: comedy, skits, and digital content. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, God's love. Can everyone hear me? Good evening, everybody. Can
Good
everyone hear
evening.
me?
I can hear you. Not loud enough. I think I can hear you. Yes, please.
All right, give me a minute. Let me get that sorted. Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good
Much better.
evening. I don't know. Does anyone please? Is Sophie here with my slide, or do I have to share a slide?
Mr. Dennis, can you help with that, please?
All right, please give me a minute to bring up your slides.
All right, thank you so much. It's so good to be here on the other side, which is very interesting. A big shout out to Gypsy for the amazing work. I think this program is one of the beautiful things that actually kickstarted my own journey, and it has been amazing. So everyone in here that is a mentee, you are in safe hands, and I'm looking forward to the amazing practice you have ahead for the young lawyers and the law students in the room. It is a beautiful sector, so I'm sure you have fun when you have, gotten the hang of everything. Okay, so I'll just wait a minute and then I will start. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Alice. While we wait for that, Mentis, I hope you heard that. Listen, I've told you all severally that at Gypsy, when you start here, you keep going. I believe one day we should have a kind of alumni hall or something where most of us who have gone through the program, especially those who kickstarted their particular career path through this particular program. And I'm so grateful to Mrs. Juliana for this initiative. And it has gone on for years, empowering young lawyers, young professionals to grow into becoming, I always say, becoming superstars. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. And we believe that this is our lives. And yes, the sky keeps getting bigger. Okay, I think the slide is up now. I'll leave the floor back to our amazing mentor to take over. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, God's love. I think we can literally start. So today's conversation, by the way, I loved Laklad's presentation. Great work, sir. I'm super, super excited about that. But personally, what I would be looking into would be just an overview, just as I was asked to take care of. Let's just get into it. I'm going to say this first, that many digital creators are extremely talented, but as we all know, very few are protected. And unfortunately, the ones who are not usually learn the hard way. So it's so crazy that today someone can just take their phone, shoot a skit, post it online, and within a few months, they can have thousands or even millions of views. I mean, they'll have brands begin to run to them, opportunities begin to come. But the question that most of them still don't know how to answer until it's too late is, who actually owns what they are creating? So today I would be exploring how digital creators, particularly those in the comedy, skits, and short form content, how they can protect their creativity while also building sustainable economic value from it. So I think we can start with the slide now. Thank you so much. So I'm going to share a reality, right? The digital content has fundamentally altered the structure of the entertainment industry. You and I would agree to that. And previously, for you to be able to be a comedian or an entertainer, really, you need to go through certain people. You need to be able to access distributions, or distribution required gatekeepers like television, radio, or even production houses. But today, distribution is quite decentralized. I mean, just like I said, a creator can do it from anywhere and literally operate a a micro media enterprise. I mean, we have examples like Tauma, Mr. Macaroni, Mike Angel Comedy. These are not just content creators, in my opinion. They are content-driven businesses. That's how I see them, and that's how we should start seeing them as, because uh we've had lots of creators or emerging creators focus on visibility metric like views, likes, engagements, and very few of them consider legal ownership, contractual structures, and long-term rights management. And like I always tell people, like I always tell my clients that talent would open doors for you, but structure actually sustains relevance. So you can be the most talented man in the house, but if you lack structure, then you literally would be as irrelevant as anything. Next slide, please. So we're going to look at ownership and copyright. I'm speaking to lawyers, young lawyers, and law students, and we all know that as a fundamental legal principle, copyright vests automatically in the creator of the original work. And this could include audiovisual content, scripts, performances, digital expressions. However, the simplicity of this principle becomes complicated in practice. We all know that too. Especially when it comes to collaborative environment. I'm going to use some examples. So let's use the collaboration example. I hope everyone can still hear me. Can everyone still hear me?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to use the collaboration example. Consider this. Just imagine a basic skit. One individual writes, another person is performing, another person is editing. The content becomes commercially viable, right? And then the legal question arises: is ownership individual, joint, or assignable? Now, we all would know that, or if just in case anybody doesn't know that, without agreement, to be honest, you now have a potential joint ownership, and that creates licensing complications, revenue disputes, and enforcement challenges. Another example would be commercial exploitation. Take, for instance, a creator is paid 200,000 naira for a branded skit, and then the brand goes ahead to repurpose the content, runs, paid advertisement, extends usage across multiple platforms. Now, without clear defined usage rights, this creator has effectively just transferred value without compensation. There's so many amazing examples out there. I think one of the loudest one would actually be the McAngel comedy dispute, which raised concerns around revenue allocation and control. The lesson here basically is that where right is not defined, right, disputes become inevitable. That is one lesson you should always take with you whenever you are dealing with clients. And in fact, you should literally let them know, because most of them don't. So it's our job to literally put it in them and make them know. So the next thing on my list is I'm going to look at collaboration and legal structuring, because I think I've had people talk about this more often than normal, not knowing how to deal with collaboration. Now, the creative economy thrives on collaboration. I can't even imagine anybody working in this industry with the competitive mindsets. That's really crazy. But the truth is, where collaboration without structure happens, it creates legal ambiguity. So one of the things you need to figure out, I'm going to ask a question now, and then I'd like to see our reply. I'm sorry, I'm a teacher, and sometimes I try not to get interactive, but I have to at some point. So I'm going to ask a question before we continue. Now, if a skit generates 10 million views and attracts sponsorships, who is entitled to the revenue? Is it the performer, the scriptwriter, the editor, or the platform owner? I'd like to see some answers, though. It would be really nice. I'm going to take the question again.
Hello, mentees. Mentees, over to you. Let's get rolling.
Yeah, so if a skit generates 10 million views and attracts sponsorship, who is entitled to the revenue? Again, I'll take the options: the performer, the scriptwriter, the editor, or the platform owner. Who do you think actually is entitled to that? Does anyone want to speak? Is anyone in here? Anyways, I'm sure the answer is the platform owner. All right, thank you, Paul. So you could be right and you could be right, because when it comes to the law, there's really no wrong or right answers, just perspective. So all of them. Okay, great. Okay, again, you could be right, you could be wrong, but here's the thing: in the absence of an expert's agreement, We should all note that, because that is what is tied to really. In the absence of an explicit agreement, the law may interpret such relationship as a joint ownership, whether you like it or not. So that's why it's really, really important, just like Lacta said earlier on, agreements and contracts are really important in this space. But if there are no agreements, the express the implied rule or the implied knowledge is that it is a joint ownership. So this would now complicate a lot of things again, just like I said, license, enforcement, and monetization. So what is the solution to this? We need to help our creators, be able to define their ownership rights, their revenue allocation, decision-making authorities, and the exit provisions. They're very, very important, because even a simple written agreement can really prevent a complex litigation. It is important, again, I'm going to reemphasize what the first mentor said, that we should be able to sensitize the word that people should always get to their lawyers before it is too late. That is a very important thing we need to know. So please let that be something that you hold on to as you keep growing in this journey. So the next slide. So I'm going to look at contracts, morality clause, and liabilities. I'll make it as fast as I can, because I'm really, really big on time. So as monetization increases, contracts become unavoidable, whether you like it or not. And so the clauses that needed to be highlighted would be duration, how long is it for, exclusivity, is it exclusive to one person, or can we just keep going and keep using it? Usage of rights, payment, and termination. These are really great clauses you need to look out for whenever you're going through a contract that has to do with collaborations and anything relating to this space. Now, we're going to look at morality clauses here. I think the first time I ever heard of it was when a client, I think I was pretty young then, when I had a client who actually had an issue, but didn't check that his contract had this clause. The truth is, many brand agreements include morality clauses, and these clauses allow brands to terminate agreements where a creator's conduct is deemed to damage the brand's reputation. There are lots of examples at the moment. If there's a scandal attached to a creator's name, brands start to panic. If there is certain thing that was said by this creator that literally probably defiles the value of a particular brand that they are under, brands will start to panic. So we have to be very, very careful when we see these type of things and make sure that we actually explain it properly to our clients or our creators really that we work with. So this could literally be it literally introduces reputational risk, behavioral accountability, and contractual vulnerability. So you have to be overly careful with clauses like this. Another thing, I think one case that really made headways for me while I was, going through this particular arrangement, this particular compilation, is the Cardi B versus Tasha K. A defamatory statement was made by Tasha that resulted to a multi-million-dollar judgment. So the thing is, yes, there's freedom of speech and all of that, but digital expression is not immune from legal liabilities. You need to know that. Now, if you say something and then you defend it as, oh, it's a joke, it doesn't count. It doesn't even hold water anymore, because you need to be careful what you say per time when you are dealing with people, and how our expressions, we should be careful how we express ourselves and what we say per time, because this could literally just attract so many unnecessary consequences. So the next slide, I think I have just 2 more slides to go. We're going to look at platform regulation and IP enforcement. I'm going to run. Now, as far as there's a law involved in these things, there'll obviously be enforcement and regulations that literally guide this thing. So digital platforms operate as private regulators, whether I like it or not. So they control platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, all of those places. Really, they control monetization, distribution, and enforcement mechanism. Take, for instance, just like the Bimbo case, where the content uses a licensed song and all of that, it will take down or restricted or demonetized. This happens. Now, when it comes to enforcement, copyright owners can literally issue takedown notices, particularly under frameworks like DMCA. Now, this literally allows them to, take over, allows them to enforce with this mechanism, and then have this cross-platform IP challenges we need to be we need to also pay attention to this enforcement, because I think takedown is like the most popular one really that copyright users use when it comes to this space, when it comes to the content, the comedy, skit, and short form videos. Most times takedown are like the most important thing used in this space. Now, for data protection and privacy, we know that the Nigerian Data Protection Commission is in charge of data protection and privacy. However, recently they issued a warning to content creators regarding street interviews, prank videos, and public recordings. Recording and publishing identifiable individuals without consent may consist as a privacy violation, right? And so this is something creators need to be very careful about. So if you are recorded in public, or if you're recorded in public, edited and posted online without your consent, it is safe to say that your privacy has been violated, and you can take an action on that, because it's actually law, and it's something that you can actually seek redress from. Then for 7, I think this is my last slide. I'm going to say this. We have a duty as lawyers and as law students to preach the gospel of the fact that creativity is a legal asset, whether we like it or not. Content are legal assets. We need to speak into the mind of every creator that they are not just creators, but they are business owners too. And we have a job to make sure they see it as that. So at its highest level, content must be understood not just as an expression, it's an intellectual asset class, right? We should be able to let creators know that they can formalize operation, they can separate finances, document ownership, and structure their rights, because it is a very, very important thing to do. So before I leave, before I get off this particular call from presenting, basically, one thing you should know is that creativity is the architecture, legal structure is the foundation. Without structure, scale becomes risky. And also, creativity is power, but creativity without structure is vulnerability. Either ways, anyhow you want to even use it, because I think I use it more often in different ways. So we have a duty to literally, make sure that the most talented are protected. We have to make them understand how to protect, structure, and commercialize creativity effectively. And that would literally be the future of the creative industry. So I'm looking forward to your presentation. And as we go through them, I'm hoping that you would have understood much more better how this part of the world works in the entertainment space and how we can actually make it better. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, JIIPCC, for this opportunity. It's surreal for me, so I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'd always say this. One thing I love about JIIPCC is how we get fantastic mentors every time. And this year, this quarter is no exception at all to that. Thank you so much, Alice, for that amazing opening. So I've always said this over time, that what happens with privacy, especially when it comes with release forms, a lot of content creators, especially in Nigeria, are having it so easy. You step into a school environment doing matriculations or convocations, and you're doing videos. A lot of them have always asked this question: how many of them actually got release forms from these people? So if someone should decide to sue someone tomorrow for saying, I did not give you the permission to use my face or my likeness for anything, and it's on your platform. So I think we'll come back to that soon, because I actually saw my face in one particular skit on the road. I want to know how to pursue that matter. If I make money, I'll come back to JIIPCC and pay tithes. Anyway, okay, we'll move on to our next mentor for today. And we have Shay here with us. He's not new at all to the JIIPCC program. I know he's mentored us before. Hello, Shay. Good evening and welcome, sir, to today's session. Our mentors have been hitting it off the back with amazing opening statements. And I believe you also have a fantastic opening for us today, based on the topic comedy, skits, and digital content. Over to you now, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gosler, for having us again. Good evening, everyone. We should celebrate Alice and the class for the amazing work they've done. They've actually made my work easy. I'm going to try and practical a bit. So for bloopers, I'm not going to be sharing any slides. So please pay attention, listen as much as possible. Like I said, I want to try and practicalize some of the things Alice and Little share this evening. All right, so let's start this way. Who wants to tell us the two most popular reigning skit makers in Nigeria? Yeah, I mean, these guys are relatively new, but they are making the waves right now. Who can share with us their names, their stage names, whatever names you know them to be? The two fast rising skit makers in Nigeria right now. Who wants to answer us? Has anybody been seeing skits online on Facebook, Instagram, on TikTok? Okay.
Okay, we have some in the chat box. I have said Brinjota. Someone has said Gilmore.
Check. I'll check. I see. No, bring your is old. Come on. Yeah, cool. There are two new guys. There are two new guys. They're really new, and they are top of the town. Okay, let's just save some time. Go
Is
check
it
out
Disney?
Motel and this thief guy. There's this guy that steals, that wears red, collects people's girlfriends and all that. All right. I can see that the other names I've not even seen before, but speaking about the two persons who I feel are on top of the club of the game right now. This guy shoots very brief skits, 10 seconds, 50 seconds, they're done. But you'll be forced to see them again and again. All right, thank you. I got your attention. I see Gilmore. I see there's thank you for that intervention. So it gives me joy to know that we are all consumers. Many of us are consumers of skills, of content online. And I also want to say, as much as we consume, let us be intentional about creating. All of us, we have that space. It is free. Creating content online is free until you choose to perhaps sponsor any of your posts. Until that time, whatever you create and post them, it's free. It's from your own mind, and then you have protection automatic, which I believe you know the basis of copyright at this time. All right. So having established that content creation is for everyone, as much as you consume, please try to also make content so that everybody can get on top of the game. All right. So at the heart of digital content creation is copyright law. Like I said earlier, copyright law is what governs what happens in governs the affairs of blogs, of videos, of music, of graphics, of anything you put out there. Copyright should be the first thing that comes to mind to guide on production, reproduction, to guide on infringement, on licensing, which the club made some with that one when it was intervening earlier. Now, so when you create content, it is not just to express an idea and move. It's not just to share what you have, what you are made of. You should think of the economic value that can come from it. Now, economic value sometimes does not come directly. It comes for some people indirectly. Now, for seasoned content creators, packages of this world, Rangers of this world, the Basket Mouth, and many of them that we know, big names, they've built a brand over time, and even in their sleep, in their deep sleep, they are making money online. That is not to get to that stage. Consistency is the goal, it's key. You have to put in so much work. But for persons who are starting anew, you may not have that mindset to make money on the spot. For example, for lawyers, you create content to create awareness, to get into the minds of our followers, of our audience, such that people start coming to make inquiries. I can tell you for free, the content I create on my page, on my firm's page, is for a purpose. I'm not out there to get views, to get plenty views that can monetize on the spot, because I don't even have the let me say the luxury of time to create such content. I'm just putting content out there for people to see, okay, I practice law in these areas of law. And one way or the other, you're getting to know me, and then eventually you need that service from me. So I don't necessarily need to tell you that I'm an IP lawyer, bring your trademark issues to me, I can solve them. But then I teach about IP, about content, so content around what I do. You get the memo. gradually. All right, so we've established automatic protection for copyright works. But then there are some other works that you may need to take the extra step of approaching copyright commission. I've registered a couple of movies at copyright commission in Abuja. You know, when creators mean business, such persons, please don't get close to infringing on their work. You would not like it. You would just not like it. Now, content are out there, but you may create your content, and then in the course of creating your content, you bring in other people's content to your own. This is talking about third-party content now, third-party content in your own content. I had a friend, a colleague, who shot recently. He recorded a video of himself talking about an area of law. And then in the course of doing that, he brought in a number of, we call it Ajasa, a number of side attractions, like Funke, like all those things that were part of content at the beginning. All those, so they were not made by you, but you're bringing them in to perhaps make your own content funnier. So he sought my opinion that what do I feel about bringing other person's memes, memes, all those 2 seconds memes, like somebody drinking tea and laughing, or guys laughing off on their seats, into your own content to make a point, to make your own content funnier. So my opinion at that point was, you do not have the permission in the first place. And the content you are creating, on the long run, the economic goal is economic benefit is the goal. So if you don't have the license, the permission of this person, it's better you just save yourself the stress, the trouble that may come in the near future. You never can tell who has trademarked their gesture. You never can tell who has gone ahead to register that 3 seconds meme that you see. They may come for you one day, and then if you are monetized on that particular content, you may lose everything. All right. However, there are instances where you may use other people's content and you will not be penalized, you will not be found wanting. This comes under fair use. Now, we've heard earlier today that what amount of fair use in Nigeria will not be fair use. For example, in North Korea, for example, in any of the Asian countries, they might be stricter in their own application of what we call fair use. But anyways, the moment so for fair use in our own setting, if the use of that content is for non-commercial purpose, you can be considered to be fair use. And then the quantity of that work that you bring into your own work also will be considered. Now, if you do not make any economic benefit from the content of others, for example, if you're writing a research, and then you can bring as many as possible research materials to portray your point, to argue your point. This is basic copyright that I'm trying to bring in here. So that is fair use, and it can come in to save you when issues arise. Now, another thing I want us to pay attention to is emerging challenges with technology. So who wants copyright in content that were generated by AI? You sit down in the comfort of your office, in the comfort of your room, use your phone, use your computer to create videos entirely with use of AI. There's no human being in that video. Who wants copyright in them? Who wants copyright in non-fungible tokens? NFT. These are issues that have not been settled at this time, but there's continuous research on them. But we must not forget that in all of these things, there is still the human factor. So even the AI content that was created, somebody sat down and crafted them. The NFTs that were created, somebody sat down and put human effort. So the moment we're able to establish the human effort, I think eventually we'll come back and say, whoever did this, whoever human carried out this work should be ascribed with ownership of that content, be it AI or NFT. Now, beyond copyright, there could be trademark considerations for digital content, for skits and other brands. Because if you check the skits of some of the no-name, for example, Rashagi already has a logo for himself. If you name Rashagi very well, you see one red logo towards one of the corners of your screen. So you cannot go about copying that to place on your own content. You'll be slammed heavily. And then beyond Rashagi, beyond the content creators that we know, natural persons now trademark their name, their brand. I know many footballers who have trademarked their brand, like the CR7 of this world. and a very good number of them. So trademark is part of what you should consider when creating content. You should be known for something. I mentioned motel earlier. If you watch motel skits, you see his name there too. So it's important to have something that you are known for. Very, very important. So how does the Lord take care of you when your work is infringed upon? Pay attention to Section 6 of the Copyright Act 2022. I won't bore you with details, but you can always go back and check what happens in terms, what amount to infringement of copyright. Now, what remedies apply to you? Can you seek, can you ask the court to grant you when somebody infringes on your work? You have damages, general damages, special damages, punitive damages to punish that offender, or criminal damages. They also have injunction, we have the appeal order, we have accounts of profits, and we added this criminal liability. And this is the part many people do not know. Copyright infringement is not just a civil wrong, it is also a crime. The Copyright Commission has police powers to deal with persons who have been alleged to have infringed copyright. For example, if it is established that there is a facility that is being used to do piracy, to produce unlawfully, unjustly works that enjoy copyright protection, you can activate the police powers of the Copyright Commission to enter into such premises and seize, artifacts or whatever it is they use to infringe on copyright in that place. And then from there, criminal charges can be filed against such persons. So please and please, beyond the civil remedies, beyond the damages that may be obtained against you, it's also a crime actually to infringe on anybody's IP, not just copyright, any IP whatsoever. So as much as possible, avoid taking what does not belong to you. So consider stealing somebody's book, consider stealing somebody's bag in the same way you steal somebody's intellectual property. Imagine taking a part of somebody's brain. It's as bad as that. So I advise everyone you get in contact with to avoid it. Very important. All right, by way of concluding, user content creation is both a creative endeavor and a legal minefield. By understanding the legal landscape, copyright, privacy, trademark, advertising law, creators can protect their work, respect the rights of others, and avoid costly legal disputes. As the digital world continues to evolve, staying informed and seeking legal advice when necessary will remain critical to thriving in this dynamic field. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing the presentation of the groups and then the question sessions and answer session that follow afterwards. Good evening once again.
Thank you so much for that amazing delivery, if I would say that, on the topic for today. I'm happy with the fact I'm hearing so many new things when it comes to content creation. Basically, I know a lot of persons who just believe get your ring lights, get your microphones and start filming or start doing things when it comes to digital space. But then understanding that there's so much involved, and if someone is not intelligent enough to work through all this, there's going to be serious problems. Mentees, if you've listened carefully, they've mentioned one key factor: the place of contracts, especially in this space, because where paperwork is not properly handled, there's bound to be problems in the future. Okay, one more time, thanks to all our mentors for doing a phenomenal job. Unfortunately, we do not have Mr. Emmanuel with us this evening yet, so we'll just move on to the presentation by the mentees. Mentees, do not forget, if about 7 minutes each, do not read your slide. Kindly present based on what you have, move on to important details, and wow us in the time given. After the presentation by our mentees, would return to our mentors to holistically look at their presentations as well as discuss other parts that we should throw more light on. Before that, please, I want to implore us to turn on our cameras as we quickly take our picture time. Here at JIIPCC, it's really, really important. I've told mentees before, for me, picture time serves as my own Met Gala moment. I get to save and preserve these memories as I would preserve a Vogue magazine cover, because, come on, who knows when next you have a session with these amazing mentors again. So protect those pictures, fully well that you were in a session with them. So please, I want to implore us, do you mind turning on your cameras as we quickly take a picture? To our mentors, to our mentees, thank you so much. Oyelade, I can see you already. Please, let's turn on our cameras as we take our picture time. Thank you so much. Please, also to our mentors, turn on the cameras and let's do this together. Thank you. Mentees, please, I'm still waiting for as many of you who can turn on your cameras. Let's do that.
All right, please, let's try and do that as quickly as possible so that we can quickly take our pictures. Thank you.
Do not forget that, okay. These photos are your bragging rights. So please save them. These are bragging rights, trust me. So when I post tomorrow and I say I was in a session with Alice Young, I was session with Shehi, I was session with Black Labs, nobody can deny me entry into their offices anymore. So I'll say, I know these persons, ask them.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. At this point, we want to move quickly into the presentations. Please, groups, do not forget, please stick to your time. Group one, if you're ready, please, the floor is yours. Group one presenter. If you're ready, please, the floor is yours. Kindly kick off with your presentation. Thank you so much. Hello, group one. Please, who is presenting for group one? Do we have members of the group one group here, please? Okay, I want to confirm quickly. Do we also have the person presenting for group two? Please, is the group two presenter available, please?
Sorry, I'm presenting for group two.
Do you mind repeating that, please?
Okay, I'm presenting for group two.
Okay, that's confirmed. Please, if you're a member of group one, kindly indicate in the chat box. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so while we wait for group one to put their house in order, I think we'll just move on with Ugochi with our presentation for group two. Please, Ugochi, carry on, please. Thank you.
Okay. Let me share the document. Okay, please, can everyone see the document on the screen?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
comedy and law.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. So I'm sorry for coming in late. Just in case there is if you guys cannot hear me, I am in a very wonderful place at this moment. So I have network issues. So just in case, please just inform me. I'm very sure I will see it as subtitle or something. Okay, so I'll go straight in because I'm very sure that I'm supposed to be time conscious in this presentation. Let me start with my name. I'm Ugochi Okechukwu. I'm representing group 2 in this particular presentation, which is about comedy and law. This is going to be like, because our mentors, they have, at least from what I heard from the meeting, that they have touched almost, if not every area of this wonderful topic. Yes, there are still other great areas actually, but it's also nice that they have touched it. At least we can go and do our own further research. Yes, so let's dive straight in. Let's start with our introduction. We understand, at least thus far, we have heard about digital platforms, and we know, at least I know, considering the whole improvement in technology, the phones, we all have our phones, we can access the internet. So we understand how this digital platform has helped to show comedy and improve comedy and skit creation, allowing different creators to reach global audience. Global audience, I mean all over the world, not just restricted to at least Nigeria or another state where I am. Yes. So we understand that. And then, so the transition from comedy to the local stage that we know, or at least I was watching CD or Basket Mouth and Bovie on TV, and then we laugh about it. But now we don't necessarily need that kind of thing. We can just go on YouTube or whatever platform that we use to actually get access to these skits. There are different skits now. I'm not really so into comedy, so I won't really know all that. Yes. So as we are going in, please, if there is any question, maybe we can ask me or ask our mentors later. So let me not dwell too much on the introduction. So let's come with protecting personal and privacy rights in this comedy and skit creation issue, even content creation issue, that is very, very important. Our mentor, she talked about how important it is for us to understand our rights and learn to protect those rights. And then thus far, I've always been talking about putting our content, at least from the last mentor, he was talking about putting our content online. And then, but it's very important that even if you're putting your content online, you should understand your rights at every moment. I believe that's why one of our mentors mentioned the essence of agreements and contracts. So thus far, we should learn to understand our privacy rights, even our personal privacy rights. Yes, and understanding that we come to the legal framework of consent. Consent is very, very important. We talked. Please do forgive me. So we talk about legal framework of consent is very important. Even as a script maker, even if you are just starting up, it's very important that you take consent. You infringe on the rights of that person. So consent is very, very important. Then we also have defamation and liability risk, and then handling legal challenges. Privacy rights in comedy. Protecting privacy rights in comedy. So we talked about consent. So using identifiable individuals without consent can lead to invasion of privacy claims. It can also bring up privacy claims, like different privacy claims. Just imagine using maybe an upcoming artist that is known in a particular region to with using maybe his face or his voice to do a particular video or a particular song without seeking his content, without seeking his consent. First of all, it's going to bring up, if he knows his rights, actually, it's going to bring up different privacy claim or different things that you may not be able to handle at that very moment. So there are high risk at So it's very important that we should understand that one, high risk activities, portraying these individuals, like I talked about, using maybe their names or their likeness, or maybe look alike or something, or filming in identifiable public spaces without consent. Please, I'm not saying that these things are wrong, actually. I'm talking about consent. So you could do all these things, but if you have their consent, it has a way of I want to say ratification, but I don't think that's the right word. It has a way of taking out that wonderful invasion of claims that could occur. So then you should also consider the regulatory stance. There are different laws concerning, especially IP now. IP is an upcoming, I'm still saying upcoming because I believe that things is still developing. There's still development to come in IP. So there are different laws concerning these particular things. And like the Nigerian Data Protection Council, it's cautioned against, you can't just record everybody, especially people that are not really knowing that they are recording them. They can't really watch their actions because they don't know you're recording them. So the law is against it. Sorry. Then you should understand that understand that if you are going to be a skit maker, because all of us are all striving, like, or as a lawyer now, you have a client skit or whatever, or you change your the characters, maybe in the script. Yes, change the characters, maybe their names, or make it in a way that even if they bring up claims, it's that character you have a way of actually defending yourself. Yes, you make them anonymous in a particular way. So let's talk about defamation and liability. Yes, it's very important in defamation. Defamation is a very wonderful topic. Yes, we have, as a lawyer, we have libel and then this and that and this. But to avoid defamation, it's very important that we should avoid defamation altogether. And the defamation occurs when a false statement is presented as a fact. And yes, to the public. So we're talking about skit making, we're talking about entertainment law. So obviously it's released to the public and it harms a reputation. So it's not just about maybe it harms a person's reputation, it could harm a company's reputation. That is defamation. So liability is avoided if in that particular comedy that you have portrayed, the liabilities can be avoided if the audience understands it as humor, or even a reasonable person understands it as humor, not as fact. Yes, they just take it as a joke. It's not really affecting the reputation of that particular person. It's very important that you know that as a skit maker or someone that is going to be into entertainment law of any kind. I'm not saying that we are all comedians, so to say, but I believe this is a very, I won't say lucrative aspect of law. Yes, and this is upcoming. So we should understand that part, that you could defend someone based on the fact that the audience took it as a joke and not as a fact. Then we should learn to advise our clients. I'm saying that the client because I'm an aspiring lawyer, so to say. Yes. So we should learn to advise our client, or we should advise ourselves, or people related to us, or people around us that are into this particular thing, or ourselves, yes, ourselves, that we could avoid all those things. But when you are making skits or when you are making whatever comedy you are making, make sure that you do not join, or did I say affiliate? Yes, you do not associate a particular person or a particular character that maybe or a company with any illegal behavior or any immoral behavior or criminal behavior. That is very, very important.
Ugochi, please, you might need to start rounding off as the time is already up. Please kindly begin to round off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so okay, thank you very much for the warning. So please allow very important that you advise your clients, not just only for comedy, not just for skit making, even for books. So whatever you are doing, I believe the slides will be made available to everyone.
Okay, I don't know if she rounded off or she has an issue because I didn't get the last thing she said, but I believe that will be her rounding off for with her presentation. I don't know if the person for group one is ready because we have limited time and we need our mentors to give us some more insights on what we're speaking on. And do not forget, I said if you have questions, please send them now into the chat box or indicate that you want to ask a live question. So please, group one presenter, is anyone for group one? Okay, in the absence of that, we just move into getting feedbacks from our mentors for today. If you have questions, please, at this point, I expect you bring out those questions. Start posting them in the chat box. Excuse me. So we can start working on those questions with our mentors. Okay, I want to go back to Laklat for, should I say, more insights? Are there things you want to throw more light on before we begin to take the questions from our mentees? Just a few minutes, throw more light on some things you think you want to explain further on. Maybe something that was said during their presentation, something you saw probably in their slide meant for presentation, or something probably you overlooked before, the first time you spoke. So please, the floor is open. Let's get to speak more on it. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, I think Laklat is no longer here with us. Okay, so I would move the floor then to Alice. Alice, please, the floor is yours. I'll not go in that order, but since Laklat is out, please, the floor is yours. Is there anything you want to? Of course, I know there are things you want to throw more light on.
All right, thank you so much, God's love. First off, I want to commend the group, basically group two. This is a well-structured presentation. You didn't just talk about creativity, you connected it. I mean, this slide, literally, because you didn't have enough time, the slide connected it to law, ethics, and technology, which is exactly how the industry works today. Because the truth is, digital content is no longer just content, it's business. Just like I said, it's law, it's risk, and it's opportunity. So I'm just going to look at certain things that you mentioned in the slide. I think the first thing I want to throw more light to would be, you mentioned the NDPC, uh, and there's one part that I want to emphasize in your point, which is privacy and content. According to your slide, you highlighted that creators are being cautious against, I'm sorry, being cautioned against filming unsuspected um, individuals, and this is very important. The truth is, I'm just going to have to break it down practically. If you walk up to someone, record them and post it online without consent, when even if it's just for fun, you may be violating privacy rights. And then that's why international shows like the Impractical Jokers and the Habanero effect always obtain release forms before airing content, because these people have to give you their consent to literally put them on air. And so moving forward, creators need to understand that content is not just about what you can shoot, it's about what you are legally allowed to publish. And then another place you touched was defamation. Again, I think I already mentioned the case around that basically. So I think I'll just let that off the table. Then there is your slide on ethical content. I also like to discuss on ethics basically, but let me challenge you a bit. As creators or as lawyers that will be taking care of creators, there'll always be a situation where you have to choose between what gets attention and what protects your client's brand long term. Now we've already seen creators lose brand deals, partnerships, and public trust because of old content resurfacing. I mean, there's so many things happening on X, from old tweets from Simi to situations like Kevin Hart stepping down from hosting the Oscars due to a past tweet. So we need to literally pay attention to that. Again, this just buttress on the fact that the internet doesn't forget. So your content today is your reputation tomorrow. So we need to make sure that we pay attention to our clients and what they post so that it doesn't affect them long term. Yeah, you mentioned piracy. I saw piracy in the slide. I think I'll just talk about piracy. In fact, I know you mentioned Sabinus, which is like one of the popular cases. I think Black Latsu mentioned Sabinus in his presentation. I mean, Sabinus have had to threaten legal actions over intellectual property theft. But the truth here is that you may not be able to stop people from reposting your content. That's the issue. So you should focus on ownership, branding, and consistency. I think that's basically the part I will pay attention to, and then I'll just leave it to other mentors to deliver basically. But in all, this is a great work, and I'm really, really proud of the work we're doing at JIIPCC and the work that our mentees have taken on for themselves. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Alice. Thank you. Mentees, I have been checking the chat box, hoping to see questions from you. Do not forget, if you want to ask a live question, the floor is yours. This is one very, 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 very lucrative part of the business, because a lot of people are moving into skit making and digital content. Yes, every day you find a new skit maker. Almost every single day, you find a new skit maker. You find something you've not seen before, either on Facebook, either on TikTok, either on Instagram. People are trying new things, and understanding the law that regulates this is really critical. And I know that Nigeria is moving towards that place. Africa is moving towards the place where most of these creatives understand the need for properly applying the law with regards to their creativity. Because if you cannot protect, monetize, police, and all that, when it comes to your creativity, it becomes a problem in the future. Imagine making an amazing content and you can't post due to failure to get release forms, or you actually post some of these things and your page is monetized, you're making money, and then look, are suing you for infringing on their privacy. Which honestly, a lot of content creators in Nigeria will go through that. I don't know what I've noticed, but some of the big content creators in Nigeria, I don't know if you've noticed this, mentees, they are now creating content in closed spaces. If they want to use a street, it's usually an empty street. If they want to have a crowd, it's almost like they are getting their own crowd. They're getting people to act as crowd. A lot of them no longer use very busy areas for skits. I think I saw one of Kiki recently in the market, and I was asking myself, did she get release forms from all these persons? A lot of them are not even aware. I know when the privacy issue kicked off initially, I told my church, please ensure to put up a write-up in service on the screen. Service is being recorded. Everyone should know, because someone could see the church. I came to church and I was put up on television. I didn't ask for you to take a video of me, a picture of me, and you did that. So where we cannot give a release form to everyone, That caveat should be there. That notice should be there. That listen, this is a live service we're recording. So if you do not wish to record it, move this way. And it became a thing over time in church. So mentees, are there questions? Please, at this point, let's ask. Our mentor is here to help us with that. Trust me, once it gets too late for questions, even if your question is breaking Nobel Prize winning question, it will be a no to time. So I'll be checking for questions. I don't know, Mr. Dennis, please, were there questions sent in before the session? Mentees, I don't know, are you doing your research when you get most of these topics? Because this is one question. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, no questions sent.
Okay, thank you. This one particular topic, I'll have loads of questions on. Okay, I'll leave the floor back to Alice, depending when we get some questions. Are there more things you think our mentees should have knowledge about when it comes to the digital space in general?
All right. Hi, I'm back. Okay, so I think I'll just continue from where I probably stopped with the slide, and then I'll probably just share a little bit of stuff. So I also thank you very much. So I think the group two's points on AI is very important. I mean, AI is that newborn baby that our parents have forced on us. Literally, that's how I see AI. I mean, we don't want siblings, but we've gotten siblings and they're really good. That's another thing. So AI, the point on AI is pretty important, and it's something many creators are not thinking about yet. I mean, today someone can clone your face, clone your voice, recreate your face, make it look like you said something you never said. And this is where the concept of rights of publicity comes in, protecting your identity and not just your content. I think this guy Matthew McCogney, I mean I haven't gotten that pronunciation right, but Matthew did something really interesting. Matthew actually protected his face, his voice, his likeness, literally trying to go against AI. I think is one of the few celebrities that are not pro AI. So these are things that creators can do too. I mean, not necessarily to hate on AI, but to protect themselves, because that's really, really important to avoid exploitation of any sort. So yes, it's possible to do that. So if someone uses AI to create a fake video of you endorsing a product, should they be allowed to do that? Definitely not, because the future of law battles are in this context now. These are the kind of legal battles that we are seeing at the moment. And then I love the fact that you mentioned, global legal exposure, which is very, 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 very correct. Once you post online, your content is no longer just Nigeria. It's global. So that means that your content is now governed by different laws, different sensitivities, different risk. I mean, imagine a joke that's acceptable in Nigeria may now be offensive or illegal in other countries. In fact, I recently heard that India has banned TikTok. So there are a lot of things really. Your content has gone global, because just like what we see, Obasanjo's internet is not just for Nigeria, it's for everybody. So we need to also put that into consideration when we're dealing. And then there's one key thing I want to add that wasn't emphasized enough. Again, contracts. Contracts not emphasized in the slide. It is key. I can't imagine anyone doing any transaction in this time in the in the creative space that doesn't have a contract. If you don't have a contract, it spells a lot of things that you are unserious. You don't know what you're doing. You've not been able to understand the value you give. So, and that is where most of our problems stem from as lawyers, literally. I think out of 50 cases or 50 situations or 50 briefs that anybody could get in the creative industry, almost 30 of them would be linked to contracts. Either they've signed wrong contract or they didn't even sign at all. So it falls within that. So is either you didn't even have a contract, or you literally signed something without thinking. So this is another thing we need to pay attention to. Success without structure is one of the fastest way to lose both money and relationship. So I'm just going to end with this. If a content becomes extremely successful tomorrow, what would matter now would be that is it legally and financially ready for that success? And if it's not, then you have to look at it as a lawyer before it probably goes out or look at it with your client as a lawyer, because most times it's advisable to avoid these things before they happens. Overall, it was a really, 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 really strong presentation. And I'm just going to add this as a takeaway. The future of content moved. I think we are literally, can you guys hear me? I think we're actually past that already. It's
Yes,
now
please.
about being informed. Okay, it's not about being informed, protected, and strategic, because at the end of the day, creativity gets attention, but structure beats care. So yes, it was a great presentation. I'm looking forward to, our mentees literally coming out into the creative space and doing amazing things, basically. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm also praying about that for them. Although I would say the way they're keeping quiet during sessions like this, it's scary. Mentees, do not forget this particular program is to help you break out of your shell, learn how to speak more, learn how to interact more. That's why we would always advise that you ensure that during this period, you're in a cool, quiet environment where you can turn on your cameras, you can unmute yourselves and get to speak. I said this before, it's a good thing that you have 2 alumni of this program, and we're doing well in our different sectors. For enough, also in the entertainment space. For most of us, it began from here, and we were not. I won't say we were the quiet types behind the doors. We were out there. So please, I want to employ us. Let's also learn to do that during sessions. Be involved. Okay, Mololuwa, I have seen your question. So please, Alice, Mololuwa is asking, in content creation, do we need license for music we use in the background? I will add this to the question. In content creation, do we need license for music we use in the background? And is there a particular duration we could use that could be called sampling or is allowed by law? So do we need license for the music we use in the background during content creation? And are there exceptions where we should not use licenses based off durations of the music we're using? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Gosler, for that question. So I'm going to speak first as I'm going to speak as a lawyer and a content creator myself, because I make content and I use background music and all of that. So this is what I'm going to say. Yes, if you are using any BGM, any background music, you definitely have to get license for them. That is why platforms like CapCut, platforms like TikTok, and Instagram, most of your social media platforms allow you use those songs because they've already been licensed to those platforms to use. So if you would want to use any song, as far as I think CapCut allows you to use them if you're using a pro version of CapCut, basically, that you can use it and you won't get, flagged or anything, basically. Then, if you're not using any of those platforms, if you are editing on another software, probably which other one is there? I think Clipchamp and other video editing platforms, basically. I'm not sure all of them have that kind of licensing, but if you're going to use songs under your contents, basically, I think it's advisable you use what's the name for this? I think it's Commons. I can't remember right now, basically. So they are licensed music, and then they are the ones that are literally in the public domain that you're allowed to use them free of charge. So I think most time they advise you to go for those ones. I think there are platforms that allow you to use those songs. All you have to do is just check for free royalties. Yes, royalty free songs. Yes, it's called royalty free songs. So you can go use royalty free sounds, just search for them on the internet and you have access to them. Those ones, when you use them, you can be flagged. But however, if you're not using those ones, you have to license. Or most people right now have producers that create sounds for them and them alone. Again, those ones will have to deal with contracts and having to settle the behind the scenes of that work. So contract agreements, forms, and all of that sorted out. So I would advise most of the time that you use platforms that already have the license for you to use those songs. But if you cannot use them, then you probably go for royalty-free music, or you could get the producer to do one specifically or customized for you. So that's basically that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm checking my chat box to be sure if I'm getting any private message. Okay, so in the absence of more questions, I think I'll just throw it back to Alice. Let's have your final words on things our mentees should take note of before we call it a wrap for this week's session. Thank you.
I thank you so much, God's love. One thing that gives me joy is that we now have more young lawyers, more law students and prospective lawyers, getting involved or getting interested in the entertainment space. It is something that we have prayed for. It's something that we have hung on to, and it's nice to actually have mentees or have young people who are really turning into that space. So one thing I would say is that if this is where you want to be, this is the practice you want to take on, give it your heart, give it your everything. It is a beautiful practice. It is an interesting and challenging one because this is one industry where change happens almost immediately. Like you're dealing with one thing now and something else is happening. And then the laws are now getting more complicated. The application of these laws are not getting more interesting. So if this is where you want to be, you are in the right place. And one thing you have to do is just be ready to grow with the times. As the time comes, change, because the information I have yesterday might not be sufficient for today. So please research more, please read more, speak to people more. Just like Mr. Sheyi said, get involved with creators. That's how you really know what is bubbling in them, what's happening to them, and how you can be part of the change that's happening in the world. So thank you so much for choosing JIIPCC. It's a great place to be, and I can take that, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, JIIPCC, for this opportunity. Over to you, God's love.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here with us this evening, as well as all other amazing mentors. You did a phenomenal, fantastic job to today's topic, and we say a big thank you so much for answering the call, for returning to JIIPCC this time as a mentor and giving us your wonderful knowledge. To all our mentees, well done for joining the program and being here this evening. To our presenter for today, thank you so much, Group 2. Group 1 would like to know, probably later, reason for the absence. Thank you so much. Please, mentees, do not forget, this program is everything. This program can build your life. It would build your life if you take it seriously. I want to employ us to put in that energy into this and ensure that we are getting the best out of it. It's not a waste of time. It's an advancement in your career. It's you building something for the future. Okay, having said that one more time, thank you so much to JIIPCC for this opportunity. My name is Gottlob Kamaluni. Until next week for week 5, where we deal with another interesting topic in the entertainment business and the law section. At this point, I want to say have a great night and have a wonderful evening. Good night.